Aero Space Kinross, part of the Aero Space Scientific Educational Trust, and we were delighted to take part in the Our World from Space programme through the ASTC. So I think that space science is vital to the health of the planet, and monitoring climate change, the impact that humans have on our Earth. But I also think that it's quite an overwhelming topic, especially for young people. So my colleague and I decided that we wanted to narrow it down to a kind of more focused programme that broke it down into a relatable context for young people in Scotland. We chose to focus the content of our workshops and our sessions for schools around the concept of light pollution. So it's quite an relatively unknown form of pollution, but one that every person has the ability to make a small change for the better. And we're really well placed with our mobile planetarium resource and some of my colleagues' expertise in saving dark skies to share these ideas.
Hello, my name is Steve. I'm the Cosmic Pilot at Cosmos Planetarium. We are part of Aero Space Kinross, and it's been a real pleasure to be part of the Our World from Space project. I'm also a dark sky international advocate, and I help remote and rural communities around the UK, Scotland in particular, to promote and protect their dark skies. For Our World from Space, we use the immersive environment of our planetarium to give pupils and members of the public an overview of the world's current climate issues, in particular how we use satellite and space technology to understand ecosystems here on Earth, and how we use that data to understand the current climate crisis. Also within the planetarium, we're able to use the software to simulate the difference between a light polluted sky and a proper dark sky. It was a really easy way for us to show what a difference artificial light can make. We're really lucky here in Scotland, on the edge of Europe. Outside the central belt, where most of the population is, we still have some incredibly dark skies. With all the pupils that we're engaging with, we're able to explain to them that you don't have to go too far from the big towns and cities to get some dark skies.
Our interactive workshops began with a short presentation and discussion around satellites and introduced learners to the concept of light pollution. Our 4 activities were designed to encourage learners to explore themes in different ways and with different levels of input from us and from educators. For Activity 1, we created a matching game where learners were asked to match images of famous cities taken from space across the world at night. For Activity 2, we developed a team mapping activity where learners were tasked with using LED lights to map out the most light-polluted cities on a map of the Earth. Learners were able to see a true satellite image of the Earth at night from the NASA Black Marble satellite and were highly engaged spotting and exploring the bright cities across Earth. As a fun and active task, learners enjoyed being dark sky heroes with reaction timers. The aim of the game was to switch off as many lights as possible in 60 seconds. For our final activity, learners were inspired to become design engineers and plan, design and create a prototype outdoor light shield. This encouraged them to think about dark sky lighting principles and produce creative solutions to improve their lighting outside their home. All of our workshop activities were well received by participants and offered tools and ideas to take learning further. The range of tasks suited a variety of learners' needs and abilities and could be easily adapted and differentiated for different groups. Following our visits, we provided all participants with a printed pack and a list of websites to allow them to do more research for themselves, both in the classroom and at home.
We welcomed Aero Space Kinross into our school to complete workshops with our P4, 5 and 6 classes recently, and the children had a wonderful experience. They were so engaged and they wanted to learn more about the topic. It was really a great way of getting the children involved and actually getting them to really think for themselves critically because a lot of the questions posed by Hannah and her team really got the children thinking about the idea of sustainability and space technology, particularly looking at the satellites and how many are just floating about up in space really got them thinking. The children loved the different activities they did, and what made it really successful was that the engagement from the children, the active nature, and actually the key learning that was going on. The children came away not realising what they had learned. And as a teacher, to see them then transfer it into other aspects of their learning was really impressive. They were transferring the skills and the knowledge. So for example, my class, which is currently P6, the children took their knowledge around satellite and light pollution, and they were using that when they were writing about their manifestos for their later politics topic that they did afterwards.
The visit was so informative and inclusive that it really did meet the needs of all the pupils. The funded aspect was really important to us too, as we would not have been able to engage with the experience without it. Every pupil got something out of it, and often different things from each other. It was lovely to see pupils engaging so well with the sensory aspect of the planetarium, as well as the active learning of the workshop. Pupils were given so many opportunities to discuss and learn from this experience. It was such a rich and inspiring experience for all.
Our World from Space has been a really transformative project for Aero Space Kinross. It's a delight to be working with children across the local area and further afield. It's a delight to be supported by the Association of Science and Discovery Centres and the UK Space Agency and the Natural Environment Research Council. It's a delight to record the number of people that we've been able to engage in this really interesting and leading edge project.
Both the planetarium and workshop provided excellent context for learning. The visits were really helpful for situating learning we have done about both space and natural disasters within a Scottish context. I feel this made the learning more meaningful, and children will then subsequently be able to talk more about what they have been learning.
One particularly good example of the relevance is the whole business of looking at light pollution. And our children certainly were surprised and amazed to discover things like the temperature scale and how different forms of light have different effects, both on the human brain and also on the environment and on animals and so forth. The kind of thing that we maybe don't have enough time to cover in our curriculum, but also gives us ideas for things that we can pick up on. And certainly the opportunity to design things like their own light shields and to then interact with their parents and families at home and talk about these things and think about the relevance of their own house. Have you got outside lights, and if so, what can we do to make them better for the environment, for ourselves, for animals round about? These highly contextualised, very interactive activities that have caused, I've seen a lot of excitement. I've seen really good collaboration between children, and the opportunity to come out of the normal classroom setting and do something a bit different. It's really been successful, and I would say everything we've done with Asset and Aero Space Kinross has been highly beneficial to the students and the school. We've often heard parents' comments at parents' nights, so there's strong evidence that the children are carrying this work away with them and mentioning it at home and discussing it with their folks. Really commend it.
Most importantly, throughout the programme, we provided tools and ideas for young people to make small changes themselves, and every action helps, even if it is as small as turning off a light.
every action helps, and it can be as simple as switching off a light. You switch off a light, you'll save money, you'll save energy, and you'll help to save the planet. The planetarium really is an incredible immersive environment, and it can really help let the pupils and members of the public understand that we all live together on this amazing planet, and if we all make little changes, we can make a big difference.